Hello there. Well, I thought I'd check in and give you a report on how I'm doing as far as the benzos. Uh, let's see. Well, let's do it this way. Monday, I went to the doctor for my leg, and if you're following my story, I couldn't hardly walk and was stuck in the house for 2 weeks in an attempt for my leg to make me crazy. So my leg was killing me, and I could barely walk on it. And I had swelling in my ankle and my knee. And I went to the doctor on Monday. He gave me some steroids that I've been on since Monday. Today's Friday, so I'm gonna be off them tomorrow. The week though is steroids cause excitability and orneriness and irritability. So that's not a good mix with withdrawal. Irritability, steroids and withdrawal. I don't think they mix too good. So it's been a difficult week, and I haven't been sleeping a lot. I've been unnecessarily horny too, and I haven't been sleeping. I've gotten like, I don't know, maybe 12, 14 hours of sleep in the last 3 days, which probably isn't good. Um, I also feel like the steroids are messing with my heart a little bit. Tuesday, I went and watched the Cavs game at somebody's house, and there was just everybody smoking and drinking. I didn't do no drinking because drinking's not my thing, but as you know, I'm a smoker, so I smoked 2 cigarettes and then was exposed to like 3 hours of secondhand smoke. And I came home and it's like shit. My heart was like messing up and stuff. I don't know if the smoking had anything to do with that, or I just hadn't been gone anywhere but the doctor in like 2 weeks. Maybe I don't know what the deal was, but let's get to my dosage, so I don't, in my customary style, just blah 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 at you. I started writing it down on a piece of paper, which, like you don't know what paper looks like. That was really important for me to show that to you. Just take my word for it. I'm looking at a piece of paper. It says on the first that I took a dose at 12 a.m., a quarter milligram, and then I had a really good stretch where I didn't take any until the second, the next day, a quarter milligram, and that's a 21-hour spread. So that's pretty good for me. If I can do between 20 and 24 hours at a quarter milligram, that's pretty good for me anyways right now. Then today's the 4th. For the 3rd, I have written down that I took 50 milligrams. The day that I did really good, of course, I had more withdrawal symptoms, so I didn't sleep. And I'm on steroids, which are making me wacky. And I didn't sleep until like 7 a.m. in the morning, so at 6 a.m. I knuckled down, and it's like, I got to get some sleep. I got stuff to do tomorrow. So then that's when I had the 9-hour spread. I took a quarter milligram to go to sleep, and then I had a therapist appointment yesterday, and that upset me, or whatever we talked about upset me. So I started feeling like very not good afterwards. I'm like, that was 6 p.m. yesterday, so I haven't had a dose in me since 6 p.m. yesterday, and it's 10 a.m. and my math tells me that's about 16 hours. So I'm feeling it a little bit, to be sure. I'm a little foggy headed. I mean, this is my second take at this. The first take I couldn't hardly speak right, so I'm doing a little better this time as far as talking. Um, the leg's better. Not like better, like fixed. It's never going to be fixed. I got CRPS, but the swelling is down quite a bit in the ankle and the knee, and I can walk on it with less pain. I can fold the recliner down and I got more flexibility. I can bend my leg back. It's going to be really hard to do, and I've never really successfully been able to do it, but I need to do like home physical therapy. What I need is I need a very large, preferably African American person, who, the personal trainer types. Why they always show them on TV. They're always so-called African Americans, or whatever you call people that look different than you, and they're always like, "Come on, you can do it," and they push you. I need one of them people. I I don't see how, when you're dealing with a painful CRPS affected limb, that you're supposed to want to sit there and do exercises with it. It's just an absurd notion to me. So the best exercise I've been able to do for my legs is just walking around. And I haven't done any, what they used to call back in the day, calisthenics or isometrics or leg kicks or any of that stuff for like years and years, because it's fucking unpleasant. And it's also like trying to use something that doesn't work right. It's really frustrating. But yeah, should do something like that for it before it, see if it keeps it from getting bad, or just in general I should do something like that. Physical therapy, the way I remember it, I don't know, I assume it's even worse now, but the insurance only pays for like a month of that, and then they just send you home with some rubber bands and stuff and tell you to exercise at home anyway. So, you know, when you got like a long-term chronic thing, a month of physical therapy don't mean nothing. So that's what we got so far. I'm all over the place with the benzo use. Let's see, 3 days ago I'm taking 3/4 of a milligram. The next day I'm taking 1/4 of a milligram, and yesterday I took a 1/2 milligram, and then today so far I haven't taken anything. And what I've been doing is I've just been trying to stretch out the intervals between the doses as much as I can stand it. And of course I got the heart thing, so I don't know how much strain, and I can't really talk to my doctor, so I don't know how much strain that's putting on my heart going through withdrawal. So usually I'm just like, well, I really don't have a choice in the matter. Whether that's my mind tricking me into taking more drugs or not, I don't know, but I feel that wrongness in my chest, and then I feel like a pulsing weird heartbeat or something weird going on there. Not like the full on, like I got doubts that my mind might be tricking me, as far as like that feels weird in there. But as far as like when I actually get arrhythmia, there's no doubts. It's like a hammer hitting you in the hand to me. It's like my heart's just like bup 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 bup. You know, it's all over the place, and I can feel it. It's, you know, I've already, like I said, I had my story where I was in the ambulance and they thought I had anxiety, and they were like, just calm down, breathe. And I'm like, breathe, I got AFib arrhythmia. And they said it's probably just anxiety, and I'm like, it's probably nothing, hook me up to the EKG. I don't think I swore at them, I don't remember, but my pulse was 203 in the ambulance. So yeah, I'm sure I wasn't too patient with them, and probably said, just hook me up to the fucking EKG already, because they were wanting to argue with me like I had anxiety. And then they were telling me to press on my vagus nerve and shit by simulating a bowel movement to calm. I'm just like, hook me up to the EKG. And they hooked me up to the EKG, and they were like, yeah, he's got AFib. Which hospital do you want to go to? So, you know, I have scientific proof that I know what's going on in there. But yeah, I'm talking really fast now for some reason. I don't know. Like I said, this is where it starts to get a little hairy as far as the withdrawal, because it's we're working on 17 hours between doses, and you know, it is what it is. But I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and I was trying to explain what it's like to have a heart problem and be able to feel your heart like that, because I've known people that were in arrhythmia and they didn't even know it. You know, they just had a checkup, and the doctors were like, you're in arrhythmia. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But with me, since I can feel it, having a heart problem is like being alone walking in the woods that you know are inhabited by a large population of bears, and hearing the leaves rustle and the twigs break behind you. It's like being alone in the woods, in a woods that you know is populated by bears, and hearing noises like every so often. So like, I know I got heart problems, and I feel like weird things inside me because I'm too self-aware and too hyper-aware of my body. And so that make you real anxious, and that's what I couldn't deal with, and why I started in with the benzos in the first place. As far as trying to get a prescription off a doctor, at that point my anxiety had gotten out of control, and initially I think the anxiety was manifesting itself as insomnia. And that's why I started taking Xanax. That friends, I didn't ask them for it. They just suggested it because they had extra. And I was like, okay. I knew they were a potentially addictive substance, but I had taken potentially addictive substances before and never got physically dependent upon them. So I'm still not what I would call an addict. I'm just physically dependent. I explained it on that other video. I didn't really like the other video that I put out about it, but I did say something really nice and succinct to explain the difference between addiction and physical dependence, strictly physical dependence, in a post I wrote, and that's this: I am physically dependent alone and not addicted to Xanax. I'm addicted to smoking. So when I watched Norm Macdonald give Roseanne Barr a Xanax on Norm Live, the podcast, I did not want a Xanax. I did not say, boy, I got to go get me one of those. When I watched Jason Statham putting explosives inside cigarettes, I wanted to smoke. You got an addiction, you got triggers. And, it's not like I said, I watch somebody pop a Xanax, I don't want to take a Xanax. But I watch somebody smoke, if I know they have a cigarette, if I know they're a smoker, because it's a mind thing. And that's the difference. This is like a physical thing I'm battling, where you get sicker and sicker because you're physically, chemically dependent. Because I think it's like this with a lot of people. We don't want to be in this situation. We don't want to, our lives aren't built around this stupid drug, but your body's just nagging at you all the time because my cognition is starting to go. I can feel it, so this video is not going to be too much longer. But your body's nagging at you all the time, so it's your body that's got the hang up. It's got the problem. It's not a mental thing. When you're an addict, it's a mental thing. And also with addiction, your behavior gets patterned around this drug. In other words, like for smokers, you just have a meal, you got that pattern, you want to smoke. You just did this, you want to smoke. You just wake up in the morning, you want to smoke. You got this whole pattern worked out of behavior. And that's why things can trigger you. Like with me, this is going to sound weird, but I think I already said this, but every time I go to a doctor, when I get out of doctors, I want a cigarette. Doesn't matter if it's the fucking cardiologist, I want a cigarette. It's just, I went through my appointment, I did my thing, give me my little reward. And at least for me, Xanax is not a reward for anything. I take those pills regretfully because I know that they're not going to make me feel any better. They're going to make me feel, in the long run, I know it's hurting me taking that pill, but besides that, because I'm taking a reduced dose, I already know, this is just going to take the edge off what I'm already feeling. I'm just going to be just as sick. And I know that taking those pills, and I know that behavior is what's causing my problems in the first place. So yeah, that's the difference. You got the behavioral thing, you got the mental thing, you got the patterns that you fall into and the rhythms, and it can be triggered. So Norm Macdonald gives a Xanax to somebody and I see it, I don't want Xanax. I see any cigarettes or any visual stimuli relating to cigarettes. If I see an attractive woman chewing on a white pen, I might want to. No, that's not true. I might want a cigarette. Anyways, I'm not doing that bad as far as my mood. I mean, my health is a fucking disaster, but my mood's good, and that's something to work with. And this video is long enough, and like I said, I can't believe I spoke this clearly, because last video, stammering, babbling idiot. So good for me. I needed a practice run though. Yeah, mental note to people out there: steroids, not a good idea when you're going through withdrawal. It's just what you need when you're going through withdrawal. It's something where the side effects are irritability and excitability. Yeah, not what you need. So anyways, I'll check in a couple of days and see if I can stick to my quarter taper. And once I get off the steroids, I can sleep a little better, because sleeping's been very rough. And I will go lift my weights and go about my day. We got 17 hours now, roughly, without a pill. So I'm already doing pretty good on that score. That's actually pretty good for me currently. And I'll try to stretch that out over 20 hours. Or at least, maybe sometimes I can go further than 20. I went further than 24 hours a couple of times. And I went to sleep once within the last few weeks without taking anything. But I woke up. I slept for a few hours and I woke up. And then I had to take a pill. But yeah, there's hope there. There's never going to be any hope for me to be concise and to make a video that's short and to the point, though. That's hopeless. So I've just accepted that I am addicted to words and talking and writing and such things. And yeah, that I will just keep blathering on like a fool until I am disgusted with myself. So usually at the end of these videos, I feel disgust that I have this problem and can't shut up. Anyways, I wish you all well, and I'll check in a couple of days and let you know how the taper's going, and let you know how I'm doing and say howdy. So goodbye.